Algebra 1, Lesson 59, Rearranging Before Substitution. So hopefully we've had a pretty good amount of time to practice substitution, and we understand that we can only substitute whenever we have a value that's solved. Like for example here, x is solved, so I can substitute 2y plus 3 for x in the first equation. Now we're going to have to learn how to do this when we don't have any equations solved for a particular unknown, and then we actually have to rewrite and solve one ourselves. So let's just go straight to an example. They give us these two equations. X minus 2y equals negative 1, and 2x minus 3y equals 4. Now the problem is neither one of these equations are solved for any individual variable, so I have to find one and solve it. I've got two options. I can just pick one at random, and then that'll make it a little bit harder, or I can look at my four unknowns and see if I have one that has a coefficient of 1. Here, this x has a coefficient of 1. So with the least amount of steps, I can solve this one for x by just adding 2y to the other side. So I'll go ahead and do that. So this equation, if I move it over here, x minus 2y equals negative 1, I can solve it for x by just adding 2y to the other side. That cancels, and then I get x equals 2y minus 1. Now I've got a value that I can substitute, right? So all of this equals x, and then I can substitute this into the second equation. So when I write the second equation, I'll write 2 times, parentheses, 2y minus 1 minus 3 times y equals 4. Now again, I've got an equation with only y's in it. I can solve it. So I'll go ahead and simplify the equation by distributive property. That becomes 4y minus 2 minus 3y equals 4. I'll combine some like terms. 4y minus 3y is just y. So then I have y minus 2 equals 4. I add 2 to each side. And then I get y equals 6. Now I've solved for y. So I can take this value of y, and instead of having to go back up into one of these equations, I can actually plug this into this equation, and I'll still get a right answer. So I'll take this value of 6, and I'll rewrite that. So I can rewrite this as x equals 2 times 6 minus 1. 2 times 6 is 12. Minus 1 is 11. X equals 11. And then again, I write my answer as a coordinate point. So it'll be 11, comma 6. And that's my final answer. So the substitution steps go exactly the same. The difference is we have to spot which unknown we want to solve for. Now this one was pretty nice to us because one of the unknowns had a coefficient of 1. Now sometimes none of the unknowns will have a coefficient of 1. Oh wait, they're not doing that to you yet. Never mind, that's probably a different lesson. If you think you got it, that's great. You don't have to continue the video. I'll just do one more example, and just to make sure everyone's got a hang of it. So let's solve. We'll go with this one. I've got 4x minus 2y equals 38, and then we have 2x plus y equals 25. So again, neither of these equations are solved, so I'm going to look at my four unknowns. This one has a coefficient of 1, so this is the easiest one to solve. So I'll go ahead and copy this one off to the side. I've got 2x plus y equals 25. I can subtract 2x from each side. Then I have y all by itself, and y is going to equal negative 2x plus 25. Now I've got a value that I can substitute. So I'm going to go into the top equation, because remember, I can't plug it back into this equation. If I do, then I'm just going to end up with a 0, or it'll give me all kinds of weird problems. So I take this, I plug it into the top equation. So I'll rewrite the top equation, and when I get to y, I'll write that instead. So I have 4x minus 2 times y, written as negative 2x plus 25. So I substitute that for y, and then that's going to equal 38. From here, simplify the equation through distributive property. Negative 2 times negative 2x is plus 4x. Negative 2 times 25 is negative 50. So now what I have is 4x plus 4x minus 50 equals 38. I'll go ahead and combine like terms. 4x and 4x is 8x. minus 50 equals 38. Then I'll move the 50 by adding or the opposite action. 38 plus 50 is 88. So now I have 8x equals 88. I'll divide each side by 8. 88 divided by 8 equals 11. So x equals 11. Now I'll take this value of x and I'll go ahead and plug it into this substituted version of y. So this is going up here. I'll rewrite this as y equals negative 2 times parentheses 11 plus 25. Negative 2 times 11 is negative 22. Plus 25 is positive 3. So y equals positive 3. And my ordered pair is going to be 11, comma, 3. All right, and last note, whenever you substitute, make sure you substitute inside of parentheses, so that way you don't forget to use distributive property or you don't make any negative positive sign errors. That's it for today's lesson. If you have any questions, let me know on Moodle, and I will see you in class.